The sterile scent of antiseptic filled the air, mingling with the faint, sweet aroma of newborns. The dull hum of machines punctuated the tense silence, broken only by the soft beeping of the IV pump. My pulse thrummed in my ears as I clung tightly to Luna, her tiny frame trembling in my arms. Caleb's eyes darted around the room, confusion tightening his brow, as if he'd woken up into someone else's nightmare. What if everything we believed was a lie? That question haunted me, heavy as the weight of the moment. Outside, rain pattered against the window, a reminder of how life keeps flowing, even when ours is on the brink of collapse. Suddenly, the room shifted. The door creaked open. Anne, the doctor, stepped inside, holding a thick manila folder, her face unreadable. The silence thickened. Then she spoke. Soft, but firm. "Actually, there's something you need to know." In that instant, time seemed to pause. Shadows of the past flickered, memories tugging at my mind, but I stayed rooted in the present, the truth I'd fought so hard to hide. Caleb and I met years ago, two broke students at the University of Michigan, sitting at the same library table. He was nervous, restless, fingers drumming like he couldn't catch his thoughts. I was the quiet observer, cautious, waiting for the right moment to speak. We balanced each other. He made me laugh. I kept him grounded. After graduation, we hurriedly married in a small courthouse, just my dad and sister as witnesses. Caleb's parents didn't come. They called it rushed, saying love had to wait until the proper time. But love can't always wait. Vivian, Caleb's mother, never yelled. No, her weapon was silence, precise, cold, calculated. When she finally spoke, it was with loaded words. "Are you sure this is the best you can do, Caleb?" Her disapproval stung, but I refused to let it break me. I knew the truth, something no one in that room suspected. I'd taken steps. I'd already prepared for this moment. Now, in this fragile silence, I wondered, what face will the truth wear when it finally comes out? In the dim glow of a flickering bedside lamp, rain taps softly against the window, a steady, relentless rhythm that mirrors the storm inside. Caleb's hands tremble, clutching his knees as fragmented memories swirl, whispers of secrets hidden deep within. His eyes dart wildly, caught between past and present, caught in the shadow of a truth he's always known but dared not face. His mother's voice echoes, gentle yet charged with weight. "You can't be who you are. Not here. Not now." Is this about acceptance or fearing rejection? Every heartbeat sounds louder, pounding in a silence thick enough to suffocate. The air smells faintly of rain and regret. Suddenly, the scene shifts. What was once a rivalry, a family sealed tight in disapproval, no, it's a war within himself, a battle over identity, over love. The camera zooms, revealing Caleb's conflicted face, shrouded in shadows, torn between who he is and who they expect him to be. What if the biggest fight isn't outside, but inside, where the truth finally threatens to break free? The hospital room felt like it had dropped into silence, heavy and thick, like a storm building just out of sight. Luna, innocent and vulnerable, cradled gently in my arms, looked up with those big hazel eyes that seemed to hold a universe of questions. The scent of rain outside seeped through the window, blending with that sterile, faintly metallic hospital smell, so clinical, yet suddenly meaningless in this moment. Caleb's hands trembled, clutching his knees as if he could hold himself together amidst the chaos. I watched him, feeling every flutter of his nervous energy, every beat of his caring heart. Then Vivian's gaze lingered, piercing. Something about her stare made my stomach tighten. She was calm, almost frozen, words trapped behind her lips. The silence stretched, fragile and tense. I wondered, what does her disapproval really mean? Is she afraid of losing control? Or is she scared of what Luna's presence might unravel within their carefully curated world? Suddenly, she spoke. Her voice was smooth, chilling. "This baby can't be our blood." It was like a window cracked open, air rushing out, leaving the room ice cold. Caleb froze, caught mid-step, caught in a web of shock and disbelief. My mind raced. How could she say that? That simple sentence felt like an axe to the heart. No anger, no rage, just icy disbelief, like she was reciting a fact from a distant, unreachable place. Luna stirred in my arms, unaware of the storm. The nurses hesitated, sensing the shift, quietly retreating. I saw Caleb's eyes flicker with desperation and confusion, and then Vivian stepped closer, her voice lowering, but her words sharp. "Look at her, Caleb. Just look at her." I followed her gaze, Luna's face, so innocent, so pure. But Vivian's words kept echoing. "She doesn't look anything like us. Hazel eyes, olive skin. She's not a Monroe." This was the moment, the truth hanging like a sword. I was stunned, not just by her words, but by the silent war playing out in that room. Vivian's disapproval was more than hair-trigger judgment. It was a mirror to her fears, her insecurities. But what if Luna wasn't just a symbol of rebellion? What if she was the key to breaking a cycle that went back generations? Could this tiny, vulnerable girl hold the power to redefine everything? Maybe love isn't about blood at all. Maybe it's about what we see in each other, what we're willing to fight for. And in that exchange of silence and accusations, I realized sometimes breaking free isn't about what others expect. It's about what you choose to believe. The sterile white ceiling above blurred as I lay in the hospital bed. The faint hum of machines tried to drown out the storm inside me. But in that quiet hum, I glimpsed something darker, Vivian's cold stare flickering with cracks of vulnerability, even if she tried to hide it. It was like she'd locked away a secret, one that refused to stay buried. And suddenly, that secret cracked open. Everything I thought I knew about Caleb, Luna, and myself shattered in an instant. There was a truth lurking beneath layers of control, expectation, and family history. It was tangled, and now it was impossible to ignore. That revelation didn't just shake the foundation. It tore right through it, forcing me to see what was real, what was built on illusion. How long had I been staring at a mask? Did we all keep secrets like vaults, afraid of what might happen if we unlocked them? My head spun, heart pounding. Everything I trusted, now questioned. In the early morning light, the room feels like a suffocating cage. The air's so cold it's biting, even through the blankets. I stand by the window, face stinging from the chill, trying to steady the racing thoughts pounding in my head. Luna sleeps peacefully, oblivious to the storm brewing just beyond the glass. I hear Anne's words echo from earlier. The results will tell us everything. And suddenly, they weigh more than I expected. Not just the truth itself, but whose truth? Because what if? What if the real story isn't what I thought it was? Vivian's disapproval? It's not just family bias. It's a shadow, a smokescreen. I feel that shadow creeping, mixing with the scent of rain on the pavement outside, leaf rustle in the wind. Everything's tangled now, our faces, our secrets, our futures. And I wonder, can love really survive the silence of secrets kept hidden? Or is it just another lie we tell ourselves to keep going? The sterile scent of disinfectant mingled with the faint buzz of fluorescent lights. My hands trembled as the technician finally returned, clutching that small envelope, the one that held everything. Caleb's nervous energy was contagious. Luna pressed close in her carrier, eyes wide but unknowing. Vivian's stare cut through the wall, colder than the winter outside. I could feel her disapproval like a weight pressing into my chest. They said the results would tell us everything. But did they? Or would it rip apart what little we'd built? The moment felt frozen, like the air before a storm. When the truth finally spilled out, it wasn't what we expected. Instead of simple answers, it was a piercing blast. Truths I'd never seen coming, shattering our illusions instantly. Eyes darted, breaths caught, silence stretched, thicker than brick. How many secrets don't stay hidden forever, and once exposed, can anything truly go back to normal? The question lingered. The room felt colder. Outside, rain had begun to fall, the scent of damp earth seeping in through cracked windows. Every heartbeat echoed loud enough to drown out the world. And in that silence, I knew. Nothing would be the same again. Because sometimes the hardest secrets are the ones hiding in plain sight. And once revealed, everything unravels. Fast, brutal, undeniable. We sat so still, the only sound the soft rustle of Luna's blanket. My mind replayed that moment. I looked over at Caleb, at Vivian, at myself. How long had we all been living behind masks? How much of what we believed was just illusion? The truth arrived like a cold gust, unexpected, ruthless, and the only thing left to do was face it, or let it break us. It's strange how a single truth can suddenly rise like a storm. Caleb's mind drifts back to a sunlit afternoon in his childhood, where laughter echoed through the yard, the scent of fresh-cut grass mixed with lemonade, sweet and warm. His mother's gentle touch, brushing his hair, whispering words he thought he knew. But beneath that warmth lurked unspoken shadows. Every giggle, every hug now feels like a fragile mask. The memory flickers, bittersweet. Love, yet always just out of reach, like a glance over his shoulder, a secret behind closed doors. And then the sterile scent of the community center reclaims him, hands trembling as the results unfold. That small envelope revealing what's been hidden, truth that could crumble their world. Caleb's energy simmers into shock. Luna presses close, uncertain, innocent. Vivian's face hardens, colder than winter's wind. Will this revelation tear them apart, or ignite something new? Maybe, just maybe, the truth is the only way forward. That moment when everything shatters, when the words arrive like a punch, everything changes. No more hiding, no more disguises, just raw, unfiltered reality. And in that chaos, a question hangs heavy. Can love survive when the stories we've clung to come undone? Or do we have to redefine what family really means? Because once the truth is out, nothing stays the same. And maybe that's finally where they find real freedom. The room felt suffocating, heavy with silence that spoke louder than words. Caleb's voice cracked, trembling with a raw, unveiled truth. My mind spun back, flooded with memories. The first time I held him, tiny fingers curling around mine, his cries echoing in my chest like a promise. I remember the warmth of that moment, love blooming fierce and undeniable. And yet, today, everything was different. The sterile smell of the hospital, the cold metal against his skin, the weight of unspoken secrets pressing down. I wondered, how long had we all been living behind masks? How much of what we believed was just a fragile illusion? The truth stormed in like a gust of wind, ruthless, unforgiving, and the only choice left was to face it, truth or chaos, knowing nothing would ever be the same again. The faint scent of baby powder still lingered in the air, mixing with the soft hum of a lullaby drifting through the nursery. Caleb's fingertips brushed gently against Luna's delicate skin, a silent reminder of innocence amid the chaos swirling outside that tiny room. As he gazed down at her, the heavy weight of his family's disapproval melted for a moment, replaced by a flicker of hope, a spark of something real. Memories flooded back, our laughter echoing through summer nights, warmth spilling from shared secrets, their sweet innocence shining through every tiny breath. In that quiet space, the worries faded, like shadows at dawn, leaving just a fragile sanctuary where love might still find a way to grow, despite all the doubts pounding outside. The silence settled over us, thick with unspoken promises. A promise that maybe, just maybe, this wasn't the end, but a new beginning. Could love truly survive when everything we thought was solid starts to crumble? Or are we just moments away from rewriting what family means? Because once the truth spills out, nothing remains untouched. And in that unraveling maybe, just maybe, we find the courage to finally accept who we are, to embrace the mess, and to find freedom in the raw, unfiltered truth. The letter in my hands trembled, the scent of rain still lingering in the air. I stared at the words, each one heavy with the unspoken weight of years, the silent, suffocating years of pretending. My fingers traced the signature at the end, her handwriting steady, yet somehow distant. Had she really written this, about doubting Luna's place in the family? I could feel my heartbeat quicken, a mix of anger, sadness, and relief swirling inside me. The past flashed. Every awkward dinner, every cold glance, every time I bent to meet their expectations. But then I remembered Caleb, his nervous smile, frantic energy, the fear in his eyes as he sought acceptance. How he yearned for love, just like Luna. I didn't reply to the letter. Not yet. I needed to process, more than just these words, the whole story of us. I'd started therapy weeks ago, not because I was falling apart, but because I needed answers. Why had I clung so tight to their approval? Why did their rejection feel like a wound that refused to heal? Vivian's disapproval wasn't just her opinion, it was a mirror of what I'd been trying to escape all my life. Slowly, I saw that my pain wasn't about her, it was about me, about finally learning to stand tall, to own my truth. Caleb and we grew stronger. No sweeping epiphanies, just small victories, late-night talks, quiet dinners where words were scarce, moments that nearly broke us but didn't. Day by day, we chose to rebuild what was broken. My dad flew across the country to hold Luna when she was barely 3 months old. Big hands careful, eyes gentle, voice steady. "She's got your fire," he whispered, "and your eyes." June sent us a scrapbook, tattered, filled with photos and notes, her take on family. It's proof, not blood. I hung it in Luna's nursery, a quiet reminder. Vivian? She's still distant. Maybe someday she'll meet Luna again. Maybe she won't. Honestly, I don't lose sleep over it anymore. I've learned that love, real love, doesn't need permission. You don't have to be approved to be whole. All you need is truth, raw and honest, and the courage to stand your ground, no matter how tilted everything feels. Luna. She's my reason to stop shrinking. With every tiny curl in her blanket, she's teaching me what it means to truly belong. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough to change everything. Those bright hazel eyes, seeing everything for the first time. I breathe in slow, feeling a peace I never expected to find. This? It's my family. Not perfect, not traditional, but it's ours. And nothing can take that away. Ever had to stand your ground when no one else believed in your truth? I know that feeling. It's like being caught in a storm of doubt, with only a flicker of light guiding you. But here's the thing. Sometimes the only validation you need is inside. If this story moved you, even just a little, I'd love to hear. What's your moment of standing tall? Drop a comment below. I read them all, and if this resonated, if it made you think about your own journey, or maybe saw family in a new light, please give it a thumbs up. It means more than you realize. Share it with someone who needs to know that blood isn't the only thing that makes a family, and if you're new or just passing through, hit subscribe. I've got more stories, raw and real, about love, identity, motherhood, healing, the chaos and beauty life throws at us. Thanks for watching, and always remember, your truth is never something to be ashamed of.